Hello friends and family from around the world, this is Mike with Morning Dew, daily events worldwide, and we are on April 1st, 2021. Welcome to another surviving day on the planet, and welcome to the Daily Dew. April Fool's Day, having a look at our sun for the last 48 hours. Very inactive. Looking at a very blank Earth-facing sun right now, except for coronal holes. We do have a little bit of energy coming from the plasma filament that ejected off of the sun. Observing that large plasma filament here that ripped away, and as well those departing inactive sunspots. Multi-spectrum here, you can still see a little bit of energy in the southern hemisphere and a couple dark regions forming. (511 angstroms), and you can really see the coronal hole that is Earth facing and deepening. So we can expect coronal hole wind stream to be affecting Earth within the next 36 to 48 hours. Looking here at our real-time solar wind, we are steady at about 367 kilometers per second and have been for the past day or so, as we're observing a very quiet sun, and as well very low geomagnetic activity. Looking here at the enlil spiral, you can see that energy from the plasma filament on the right-hand side there, and it looks like it'll be above Earth, most likely affecting northern hemisphere, running underneath or above Earth. But a little glancing blow from that filament eruption. No major solar flares to talk about. Looking at our Schumann resonance, and we are at a power of 27, as we did see a couple nice spikes there. Looking at a quality of 7.2 and an amplitude of 24. Looking here at the last 24 hours for earthquakes, we're going to start out here with the most recent earthquake of 4.3, Indonesia. Babar, 4.3, Indonesia, 156 kilometer depth. Now, what you're going to notice here, we've seen a lot of deep earthquakes today. 46 kilometer depth here, 5.4 in the Philippines as well, a 4.4. 151 kilometer depth to Bilo, as well just north of Guam, Japan Islands region, 4.6. And as well a 4.8 here in Matsu, Japan, 60 kilometer depth. So throughout that region, seeing a lot of deep earthquakes around the deepest trench in the world, Marianas Trench. 4.6 there reported mid-Indian Ridge, as well 4.7 Greece, and second Algeria earthquake this week, 4.8 at a 10 kilometer depth. As well a 5.1 here reported South Sandwich Islands at a 10 kilometer depth. 4.3 here in La Serena, Chile. As well, Puerto Rico, 3.1, largest recorded today. Still not seeing the swarm that they used to. That's a good thing, I guess. A lot of energy has shifted, especially here to White City, New Mexico, 3.9 at a 6 kilometer depth. Yet another one. And also reporting a rare Blanchard, Louisiana, 3.0 earthquake at a 5 kilometer depth, and as well Ratcliffe, Oklahoma. See minor seismicity throughout California today, Ocotillo, as well Delta PC Max, and 3.0 here, Huntington Park, California, Los Angeles, seeing a pretty sizable earthquake today, 3.0. Well, not sizable, but definitely feelable. As well, Petrolia, 2.9, 2.5 there. In Milford, Utah, 5 kilometer depth, seeing a lot of earthquakes there recently. 2.7, Stanley, Idaho. quiet throughout Alaska. Still active on the Big Island, Pahala, 3.2 reported there today. And then the largest earthquake today, 6.5 early this morning, New Zealand, Kermadec Islands at a 20-kilometer depth. And just recently a 5.6 aftershock. As well as 6.0 this morning in Fiji, 587-kilometer depth. So we were expecting a large 6.0 or greater, and we got it. And I was suspecting Kermadec because it was very quiet. Looking here the last 7 days for earthquakes, seeing increased activity through Indian Plate and up into Eurasia. A lot of activity around Etna. As well, increased activity through South American Plate and into Antarctica. North America seeing an increase too, microquakes. But the deep and many 4s and 5s throughout Indonesia, the Philippines Plate, is a bit concerning. Watch for an increase in seismicity through Alaska this week, as we do have a pretty intense low pressure system heading towards that area. As well, Iceland is still going, kind of relieving a lot of that pressure with that continual eruption. Looking here at the most recent volcanoes to update from around the world. As yes, Etna put on quite a display for the past 36 hours. I was watching it all night long. But yeah, Pacaya in Guatemala, Senge in Ecuador, Nevadas de Rules, Fuego, Guatemala, Dacono, Indonesia. Many floods and storm alerts here. Sabancaya in Peru, Etna in Italy, quite a display as I was talking about. Reventador, Swiss and Najima, and Popo in Mexico. And as you can see here, some tsunami alerts did go out early this morning with the 6.5 in the Kermadec Islands, but there was no tsunami imminent. So the watches went out and no warnings went out. So most times with a sizable earthquake like that, the watches will go out, but you have to read in the lines. Yeah, so things drying up right across the United States. No major hurricanes or cyclones to talk about across the world. But across the United States, things are drying up and starting to warm up. And we had a wildfire here south of Calgary the other day that formed, but now today, very, very windy conditions. We've had gale force winds for quite a while, the last 2 days. And then this erupted in Sage Hill. This is just northwest Calgary. A small brush fire did break out, very strong winds. But it looked like they got it under control after some time. And thank you, Chris Savage, for sharing that video with me today. He was out on the scene and shared the video. Thanks again. Let's have a look here. 5-day forecast brought to you by Meteor Earth and Meteor Mike. Starting out here, Calgary, Alberta. As yeah, very windy situation right now, but some warm air moving in. And then another low pressure system is going to be moving through. So watch for a very erratic temperature swing and winds over the next few days through the prairies and as well the coastline through BC. So yeah, one low pressure system here finally leaves BC heading northward into the Hudson Bay. But then another low pressure system comes in from the coast and then forms Alberta Clipper. Half of it sends north and the other half goes south. But big high pressure ridge down there and warm. So most likely going to gobble most of that moisture up. United States, you've probably seen the last of the cold from Canada. You're welcome. Atlantic Canada, you still have quite a system heading towards you, but some pretty warm temperatures coming from that system out of the Atlantic. Speaking of the Atlantic, That large low pressure system has now let loose, and it looks like it's going to head east into Portugal. Big high pressure ridge above it and strong. Don't know how much moisture will be left of it by the time it gets there. The major system here is over Norway and heading into Finland and then southward. Now, very, very strong winds with this storm. Tight isobars. So heads up, all of my European friends across Eastern and Central. You do have a wild week ahead of you with this massive low pressure system. I'm telling you, it's going to be very, very windy. On the coastlines, you're going to have some serious extreme weather to deal with. So thoughts and prayers to everybody who's going to be affected by this big system through northern and eastern Europe. But look how far down it's going to bring some snow and some extreme weather, I'm sure, to the Mediterranean as it clashes with that warmer air. So yeah, big heads up to Europe. Wild weather, wild week of weather ahead of you. Overlooking Africa, no major weather systems to talk about. Over the Indies, no major weather systems to talk about either. Southeast Asia, do have some moisture moving through Thailand and into China. Could have a big low pressure system forming later in the week over China. No typhoons forming, no major lows. But then you can see here in from Sunday to Tuesday, you do have 2 cyclones forming just south of Indonesia. So cyclones in the forecast for the Indian Ocean, as well as some extreme weather for the coastlines of Australia. Overlooking New Zealand, a couple days of dry weather, but then a little tail of moisture from a big low in the southern hemisphere. Bring some rain to you. Overlooking Hawaii, daily evaporation rains, no major weather systems heading your way. Coastal regions here. I was watching this low in the Pacific, and it looks like it's going to get gobbled up by that very strong and intense high pressure ridge in the Pacific. You can see that the deep dark red. And then, yeah, big low pressure system heading into Alaska, so we can watch for increased seismicity through that region. Overlooking South America. Not much to talk about except for daily evaporation rains, heavier towards coastal regions, Panama, and as well through Colombia and Paraguay. But other than that, just some regular daily evaporation rain. Leave it here looking at the southern hemisphere versus the northern, and boy oh boy, things are really ramping up. It's really windy across the northern hemisphere. I got a big video coming up here soon detailing in regards to that and the changes that are happening on our planet. Looking at the northern hemisphere, watch for this very big system to affect my European friends, especially Finland. Thank you so much for watching today. Please share this video with your friends and family. Stay aware and prepared, stay young and have fun, and get your morning dew. Bye-bye now. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends and family from across the world.